haven't even been drinking yet. And that's what this PENON FAN2 made such a... it was a pain in my ass. And I get to another passage and I thought, damn, that sounds good. I wonder what that would sound like on the FAN2. And I stuck him in and I went, holy shit. I should articulate more. I can't just say, And I stuck him in and I went, holy shit. These things sound better than $1,100 IM. And I stuck him in and I went, holy shit. I'm done. This is the Tone Deaf Monk. This is an audio review. This is something I have been chomping at the bit to release my impressions out in the wild. When you guys know, you watch my videos and I hate stuff. I am full on out there with the not like stuff. And when I love stuff, I think it rightly deserves the attention that it gets. And I think for my own personal choices, I've made some great choices. Any of the ones that I've shared with my review group, with my peers, have also reaffirmed that I have decent ears. They are shapely nice. You know, the lobes aren't too long or too droopy. You know, I think I have nice ears. And I think they do a pretty decent job of knowing what I like. And if you kind of like what I like, then you will like what I'm showing you. Now, when I'm talking music about the PENON FAN2, that's really my takeaway with this IM. They were an absolute pain in the ass to me in this last few weeks because I am tried, and I did review the 64 Audio U4S. What a lovely, fantastic best musical IM 64 Audio put out. Not the most articulate, but it's definitely the most musical. And they're least expensive for $1,100. And that's what this PENON FAN2 made such it was a pain in my ass. Because as I'm listening to this 64 Audio, and I know how damn good it is, and I would be listening to a track on my playlists or just music, and then I would say to myself, well, I wonder what that would sound like on the FAN2. And the biggest problem for me is that this came in at the same time that DJ Krusty loaned me these for a couple weeks. And I made the mistake of actually putting them in my ears prior to burn-in. And my jaw hit the floor. I haven't seen a graph of those until just before, when I asked Tony Tex if he would be so kind to share one, and he did for me. So thank you, Tony. And so then I would stick them in my ears, and then I would start getting lost. And I had this big shit-eating grin on my face when I stuck the Fan 2 in. Let's just call it the F2 for short. And then I'd have to take them out. And I'm trying to do my musical impressions. So let's listen to the U4S. And I get to another passage, and I thought, damn, that sounds good. I wonder what that would sound like on the Fan 2. And I stuck them in, and I went, holy shit, these things sound better than $1,100 IM. To me. And I'll tell you why. So before I get into musical impressions, though, understand what I like. And what I like about the Zen's Up, which is the Yanyan Canon, and even the EA 500 SimGod. I like faster, speedier bass. I like bass with texture. I like bass that still has some decay, some release. You can hear the notes after the drum hit or the strum, and I want to hear that. So it's not just little details. It's not the nuances that I'm looking for when it comes to bass, but that's a big part of it. But I like the faster, speedier bass, almost into the mid bass. I certainly love my sub bass and the way it tickles my ears, but I love the attack. And I don't like it too much when there's bleed into the mid bass where it really messes up vocals. And then the mid range, the vocals for me have to be spot on. I don't like too recessed vocals, and I don't like too forward vocals. That was probably my biggest thing about the PENON Globe, my first IM I've ever had from PENON. And I just fell in love with the musicality of what that can do. Now, it's super bass heavy. It's kind of like, it has bass and vocals, and it didn't have enough sparkly twinklies to make me happy without EQ. Then I had a chance to pick up a PENON Serial, and I heard good things about that as well. And everyone was talking about how wonderful the bass is, the best bass that they've ever heard. And it is good, but there's IMs that do that better. There's IMs that do it better for me. And again, that is what I like, my faster, speedier bass. Almost BA, except for more note weight, right? So I don't like BA bass. I like the speediness of it, but I don't like how it sounds thin. And sometimes that translates obviously to male vocals as well. So along comes the Fan 2, and I really knew nothing about it. I didn't read much about it. I just wanted to. Somebody said it was the most balanced PENON, and I think I would expand that statement to being one of the most balanced. The Kiwi Orchestra Light, balanced. Didn't quite have enough. If it had more BA bass, it would have been better, but it didn't. And it didn't have enough energy in the highs to excite me. It was dull, but it was balanced. This PENON Fan 2 is, in my world, the most balanced IM I have ever listened to. What does that mean to me? It means it has to have the a good mix of everything. Bass can't be overpowering, can't be overpowering the vocals, and it has to have enough mids and energy there to present instruments correctly. And high frequencies, there needs to be enough there to bring the air, excitement, stage, details, instrument placements, all of that. And the Fan 2 does it in a most wondrous way. Is it, in my opinion, the best PENON? Absolutely, in a heartbeat, regardless of price, from everything I've heard so far. Now, to be fair, I haven't heard the Impact and I haven't heard the Vortex, but I haven't heard people raving about it. In the insiders chat groups for other reviewers, I have heard nothing but glowing talk about the Fan 2, and I'm here to add to it. I think it's a wonderful IM. I'm also I love this IM so much, I went to PENON and I asked if I could get that 50% off deal. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm super happy to say that they gave me a code that I can share privately with you. I can't do it publicly. They don't want me to do that. And that's perfectly fine. They just ask you to please subscribe to their newsletter, which is totally fair because then you get any future deals as well. And if you message me, I can privately share the link with you to save 50%, half off. It takes this IM from a phenomenal value. I would totally buy it at $280, but you can buy it at $140. And for that is robbery. It really is for what this thing sounds like to me. Very, very awesome. In the last sum up of my U4S video, I said, you know, if I had $1,100, what would I choose? I said I would choose the Zen's Mangered Up. I would choose the PENON Fan 2, and I would choose like an EA 500 and the HBB PR2. I'd buy 4 cases and 4 cables, and I would be still better off. Less money, and have 4 wondrous IAMs. That is the state of Chi-Fi in 2023. Why did I love so much the Fan 2? What was it about the Fan 2 that made me instantly fall in love? It wasn't a matter of, you know, I hear a lot of the things people go, you know, I had to let it burn in and I think it'll change a bit. And it's like, no, people, honestly, if you stick something in your ears and you're not wowed right off the bat, there's a 99% chance that you're not going to love it. If you think it needs burn-in or needs this or needs that to make it sound the way you want, you already lost the game, right? This was, again, those IMs that I just mentioned, all of them, I stuck in my ears and went, that is absolutely fantastic. Big grin on my face. This thing is doing something that's the other IMs that I have listened to, or headphones or speakers or whatever gear, didn't do for me. And that was when I was, you know, doing all my musical impressions with this, with the U4S, and then I would stick the PENON Fan 2 in my ears and went, that is better. That is better stage. It has wider stage. It has more 3D. It has height. It has depth. It has spatial awareness. It has, it just has all of that in spades. And then the bass, those dual 6mm drivers are slamming, right? 2 6s equal 12. Now the difference between if I had a 12mm driver, it would be slower. It would need more power to get it to the same level, where the 6s are easier to drive and they have more energy in that. The Fan 2 is a neutral IM. So that puts out treble heads and bass heads. Everyone else who can appreciate that, you will love this IM. And when I said this, the stage killed the U4S, honestly, it did. And that's a really bold statement to make. And this is a wonderful IM, and it's $1,100. I just really like the way this thing puts a big grin on your face when you're listening to music. The vocals are not forward, they're not recessed, and they're perfect in the mix. You hear an equal amount of balance between that slam and fast bass, the mid bass, the vocals, and all the instruments and placement and separation. Truly wonderful. I mean, the whole package. You get this really super awesome blingy case with the, again, cases have to make sense. Cables have to make sense. I can't show you any ear tips because, weirdly enough, mine didn't come with any. Came with everything else. They just forgot to put the ear tips in. So, Penon, you owe me some ear tips. The cable that comes with, I asked for 4.4. There is, and it's like a very thin braided nylon cable, tangle free. Wonderful. Sounds awesome with the Fan 2. I ended up going to a slightly different cable. This is the XIN HS. Nope, sorry. One's not. This one's the K-Bear. I tried both. This is the K-Bear cord cable, graphene cable. I thought it was the best pairing. Talking about pairings, let's talk about sources. So from I started listening to it downstairs with the i-Fi stack, the ZenCan 2 ZenDAC 2 and the i-Fi can, and that Burr Brown is slightly warm, and I love it for certain IMs. Like the 64 audio was perfect on that one. And then I switched to the Hibby R6 III and a couple more dongles, the Shanling UP5, the E1DA. I switched to a different 2.5 cable. And this one is super articulate, very, 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 very clean. And then to confirm everything that I was hearing, I went over to the desktop and ran it from the Hibby, not through the J2 Gishelli this time. I went directly into the topping A90D, and it confirmed my impressions that the PENON FAN2 would like something very, very detailed, clean. It just enhances. It doesn't need help with the vocals at all. And same as that gold cable that I fell in love with. That's an XINHS golden SPC cable, which does enhance the vocals. Very few cables really change sound for me. That one does. Most of them are just candy for me, but I can hear a difference between certain cables. And that was my configuration I used. I'll talk about one more thing here. Let's talk FITMENT for a second, because this is going to be a big point. So articulate sources, clean sources, lots of power, swallows it up. PENON FAN2, F2, power, great. Will it run off a dongle? Yeah, no problem. The Truthier Shiro, fabulous as well, right? The CSS DAC. FITMENT. Okay, well, this is where my journey took a weird turn. So I do lots of tip rolling, and the nozzle, let's see if we can show you that, for instance. So the nozzle is long. This is a long boy. And it's got a different angle on it, like it almost angles back in. So the first 15 pairs of ear tips I put in, I wasn't exactly feeling the comfort. I was getting the isolation, but I wasn't getting the comfort. And then it wasn't until another forum member, Rattle Blanket Woman, suggested that you go down a size in ear tips and put a really short one on. So then I use the BGVP W01. God, why do they have such long names for a freaking ear tip? And this one's even worse. I ended up using one size down. Instead of a large, I'm using a medium. And this is like a 12 mil ear tip, and really short. And it goes deep into my ear. That is the secret, and super comfy. So once I've learned that trick, right? It fits like a glue there. Just a terrific fit and better sound. So this one is the Whizzer something W22. Again, I'll put a link in the description for this exact tip. Highly recommend it. Again, all of our ears are different, so you're going to have to play around, but I really want you to be aware of that. If you're finding the comfort not up to spec, then try something really short. Again, I love wide bore. Oh my. This IM, if you put a wide bore tip on this thing, you are going to hear things that will blow your mind. Speaking of that, not your mind being blown, but new Metallica. Yes, the bass, fantastic. That's what I'm looking for in that song. Enter the Sandman Metallica Live, S&M 2. Okay, so now into some musical impressions here for you. I listened to this track, and it's a live recording, and again, here the Lars Metallica's playing in the center. There's a huge, I think it's a 132-piece orchestra. Massive. A lot of players. A lot of talent. Massive venue. Huge venue. Very few IMs can give you that sense of space. Right? It is a very well recorded song and album. I haven't even been drinking yet. I needed to be clear-headed for this review. You notice also there's no fruit porn in this one. I'm so dedicated to just talking about this IM. That's dedication. So many IMs get that song wrong. And that sense of spaciousness. Here to report that the PENON FAN2 did it better than anything I've ever listened to, except for the U12T, which is $2,000. But it did it in a way that was more musical. So, win-win. I switched up from Angel Massive Attack to a different one called the Unfinished Sympathy. I love this track better. And really has some low end anyway in that droning. Love it. So, you know, if you're worried about two 6mm drivers not giving you sub bass, it will give you sub bass. It just won't give you bass head level sub bass. But you'll be happy. Very happy. All my friends are here. Joe Satriani again, where he did this recording. And he said it's like a guitarist trying to control a wild beast. Did that come through? Yeah, in spades again. He does this recording where he did a multi-track where he's playing in the background his electric guitar, and then the mix left and right, and you can clearly tell the the difference between him playing in the back and then the new tracks over top playing forward. Exceptionally well done. Every male vocal plays as good or better than you've ever heard in your life. Female vocals, wow. We'll get there. So when I'm listening, Money for Nothing, Dire Straits, wow, again, there's that just, went from the U4S. It's like, how is this going to sound on the Fan 2? Put it in. My tiny brain was like, oh.
Tiny brain was like, oh.
Yeah, there you go. More Nils Lofgren. Again, some of these live recordings. But and then Ambiguous Mr. Lovegood, Dead Can Dance in concert live, and Rackham live. These two tracks are absolutely mind-blowing, phenomenal on the Fan 2. Just the recording quality, the sense of spaciousness, the stuff that is going on around you is so immersive, and you can't, unless you're dead, you will have a huge grin on your face. Poncho Sanchez's, man, the hit, and his vocals, it all comes together. Now let's get into some and the Hani Irani stuff too. Also, so piano. I'm listening to piano. And this is a track called Stampa, and this is one where she does the recording mics on the keys and in behind the piano, and the amount of secondary resonances that you hear in this track with the Fan 2 is nothing short of exemplary. Just brings that track to life. Some IMs oversaturate the piano. Some don't have enough attention to detail to bring out the nuances. Fan 2 does it. Tina Gao. Now this is a track you got to listen to. Vivaldi's Double Cello. When IEMs do instruments to this naturalness, musicality, organic, and bone-chilling, realistic. It was one of the best listens to I've ever had. She's a rock violinist with an electric violin that is you gotta listen to. Then, of course, the Circle of Life. She does another track again. So cellos, violins, piano, drums. These are all wow. Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. I switched up one from a different one. I wanted to hear micro details, macro details, Live and Let Die. I should articulate more. I can't just say, That means good. Really, really good. Fan on. Yeah. Fan-on-tastic? Could be a new word. What about EDM? Electrified 2, Yellow, Kiss the Cloud, Yellow, Friction, Crystal Method. Yeah. Yes. Into modern vocals. Now I'm getting to my female stuff that I really, 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 really love. Lorde, Ellie Goulding, Pink, Miley Cyrus, Halsey, Sia. Grin, 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 grin. Alanis Morissette. You know, that you can hear the edginess. And it gets better, okay? Jennifer Warnes, Way Down Deep. Ella Fitzgerald, again, just, yeah. I'm actually speechless for words. I can't even express to you how much I enjoyed listening to the Fan2 with these tracks. I posted one the other day. I said a song, okay? And Enter Sandman from Young San Nam. I hope I didn't change her name to what it was supposed to be. She breathes into the mic. She does this. If we want to talk macro, micro details, listen to this song. And she goes from louder passages to quieter passages to whispering in the microphone. And you can hear heavy breathing. It is. Yeah. Janis Joplin. I Need a Man to Love. Wow. Never heard it that well. That good. Take Me to Church from Hozier. And then Sing All This Together, the remastered version by the Rolling Stones. You know, well, all of the Stones albums are masterly recorded, I think. But this one track just yeah. I'm going to say that again. Yeah, because really, unless you've listened to the Fan2 with these tracks, or I hope you do. I really hope you do. If you can't afford a PENON Fan2, even with the 50% off deal, convince your buddy to buy one and borrow it. Problem solved. And then don't give them back. Or, yeah. So, that's my musical impressions from what I listen to. I'd give you more. I could spend hours. I could spend days on telling you how much I really enjoyed the Fan2. In fact, I enjoy the Fan2, and I'm so enthusiastic about it. Before this review, my friends on my peer group, I shared the code with them. They bought each a set. Because I'm that enthusiastic, and they trust me, and they know my ears, they know my tastes. I shared with them other IMs that I thought were wonderful, and we are all on the same page and the same agreement. We hear things very similarly. We may not all have the same musical taste, but at least we all agree on what sounds good, what doesn't sound good, what these IMs or music or, are doing for each other. And I don't, what did I miss? I talked about I will talk about that stage. So that stage, remember how I heard like the U4S on that Enter Sandman song, where this has only happened a few times in my life, where I heard something from Enter Sandman from Young San Na, where I was sitting in my listening chair downstairs, and I was listening just off the Hibby, and I heard something, and it sounded like behind me, like somebody was like knocking on the door. So I turned around. Of course, there's nobody there. Kilo, my dog, is looking at me like I'm nuts. And I went back and I listened to it again, and it did the same thing to me. And I did the same stupid thing. I went, right? But it's in the track, but it sounds so realistic from behind you. And then through this entire track, you're not just incredibly wide, but incredibly wide. Like, that is the stage of the Fan 2, and it has to do with the way the Fan 2 is so incredibly balanced, because there is not too much sub bass that's overpowering the bloating the mids or mid bass. You can hear everything across the entire frequency range in a natural way. So you can hear all of the vocals crystal clear, but instruments and placements and the staging and the fun factor, right? I don't know if you would describe the Fan 2 as the most... It isn't. A U12T for me was the most real to life, right? But I gravitate towards what's going to make my life better. And the Fan 2 does that. And I will take the Fan 2 for listening to music over anything else that I have. Period. I had such a hard time putting these down to do my review of the U4S. It was extremely difficult. Again, not to say that they're absolutely mind-blowing IEM for $1,100, but I would so rather listen to the Fan 2. That's how much I really enjoyed listening to it. Stage, we talked about. Instrument placement. I talked about how it's bass, the mid bass. There's no bloat because of the fast, speedy drivers. I'm done. Really. I've gushed enough on this IEM, and I was super, super pumped about bringing this out to you. I probably could have done a whole crap load better job on giving you my impressions, except for I wanted to get the half price code out to you so you didn't hear such wonderful things from other people and buy it at full whack. You would have enjoyed it anyway at $280. No doubt in my mind, you'll be a keeper for you. It's not going to offend anybody. Not on highs. I'm treble sensitive. I have no issues. Never once cymbal it. At incredibly high volumes, I might add. Bass slamming too, right? I mean, unless you like a more legato, old school nature thump, but I appreciate the legato. I appreciate the U4S for its bass enhancement. I enjoy it a lot, but there's something about these dual sixes that slam in a way that it just resonates with me. I'm almost crying, actually. That's how much emotion I have for these. Anyway, enough of that. Thank you for letting me share this with you. It's Tone Deaf Monk. I'm out.